This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, Dunedin Mayor Dave Cull throws his support behind two of the candidates vying to succeed him. Youth Play Smashed educates teens about peer pressure and alcohol. And the Canterbury Federation of Women's Institutes showed their competitive spirit at last week's indoor bowls competition. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Simon Anderson. Outgoing Dunedin Mayor Dave Cull has thrown his support behind two of the 14 candidates vying to succeed him, Councillors Aaron Hawkins and Christine Gary. The three-term mayor told Otago Daily Times senior reporter Chris Morris, while he would give his first and second preference to the incumbent city councillors, he was still unsure who would be his top choice.
It's not for me to anoint one person necessarily, and equally I don't think that I would pick a mayoral candidate on personality or whatever. I think it's about someone with the right style of leadership, which, as I've said, is trying to achieve a consensus, because you're only one vote around the table anyway. And if you're going to get anything done, you need allies. So it's someone who can at least bring people together. And I'll be looking for, if I think about where the city's got to during my tenure, and my belief that we've really got to maintain momentum on investment in infrastructure, on our environmental and climate change concerns, on housing, etc., and that it's not the time to be saying, let's stop spending, let's cut debt, let's change things. This is not the time. It's the time to be really pushing ahead. So I'll be giving my first and second preferences. I'm not going to anoint any one, but I'll be giving my first and second preferences to Aaron Hawkins and Christine Gary, because they fit that set of criteria.
In which order?
I'm not anointing anyone.
So one of them will have to get a one.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure about that. But on the one hand, it's about time for another woman mayor, perhaps. On the other hand, they have quite different styles, quite different strengths. But what I do think is important is that people do exercise their preferences, because no one will go in, and it's highly unlikely anyone will go in on the first iteration. So it's important that we express our preferences.
And you can see a full exit interview with the Mayor later this week on odt.co.nz and Channel 39. A man accused of stabbing to death an 11-month-old sea lion in Otago Harbour in 2016 has asked for the charges against him to be dropped. The trial of 54-year-old Graham Lowry was abandoned in May when Judge Michael Crosby sent the jury home and declared a mistrial. Lowry pleaded not guilty to charges of stabbing to death the sea lion pup Rua, seen here a few months earlier with her mother at Warrington Domain. Yesterday, Defence Counsel Judith Ablett-Kerr argued the Crown's mistakes during the prosecution showed a lack of due diligence that amounted to gross negligence. She says her client has already spent 6 figures in what has been a lengthy process. Prosecutor Craig Power says the failures of the prosecution were not deliberate. The judge reserved his decision until mid-November. The Smashed project, established in the UK in 2005, was brought to New Zealand in May by responsible drinking initiative The Tomorrow Project. The show is delivered by the Life Education Trust, and yesterday's event brings the number of New Zealand pupils who have seen the touring show to 20,000.
Bringing alcohol harm awareness to 20,000 a year 9 pupils. Travelling show Smashed is a 3-person play demonstrating how peer pressure and alcohol can be an unhealthy combination. Kavanagh College Year 9 Dean Iris Bukowski says the pupils that she takes care of are at the perfect age to hear the message.
They need to realise that they don't need to be part of that cool group who wants to try everything, and that it's okay to say no to things that are not healthy or that can cause a lot of bad effects.
Responsible Drinking Initiative The Tomorrow Project is behind the Life Education Trust show, and the project's leader Matt Claridge says Smashed empowers youngsters to make better decisions.
And the basic real learning that kids get out of this show is they learn social skills to deal with peer pressure situations when alcohol is involved, which is pretty important for young teenagers. And research tells us that Year 9 is the level to start that.
Claridge says research shows more than half of all teens have had an alcoholic drink over the past year, and he says young people's attitudes to alcohol generally change after seeing the show. This was the case for Year 9 pupils Kira Lee Burgess and Cole Phillips. What is the take-home message you've got from what you've just seen?
To drink responsibly if you do, but try to avoid it.
I originally thought drinking would be fine when I get to like 18 or something, but now I'm having second thoughts, knowing the severe effects and what my parents would think, how it affects like my even university grades or later in college life grades and stuff.
Actors Kieran Milton as Jack, Troy Vandergoes as Caleb and Carice Utai as Charlotte held the attention of 80 Year 9 pupils at the Kavanagh College Gymnasium yesterday. Matt Claridge says the Tomorrow Project aims to obtain further funding and have the show seen by every Year 9 pupil in the country. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Southern motorists are being warned to take it easy if travelling on the South Island's Alpine passes this evening. Met Service is forecasting snow to low levels and thunderstorms are possible as a cold front moves across the country in coming days. Road snow warnings have been issued for several South Island highways until 10 p.m. tonight, including the Linders Pass, Haast Pass, Crown Range Road and Milford Road. Snow could also fall near the summit of Dunedin's Northern Motorway overnight. Thunderstorms are possible across Otago and Southland as a cold front moves across the country in coming days. More detail in this evening's weather. The Canterbury Federation of Women's Institutes showed their competitive spirit at last week's Indoor Bowls competition. Held in Ashburton, the annual regional interprovincial bowls playoffs were held to select a team of 3 to represent Canterbury at the Nationals next year.
Having fun while choosing their best team to represent Canterbury at the National Indoor Bowls tournament set to be held in Lower Hutt early next year. Ashburton was recently host to the Canterbury Federation of Women's Institutes annual regional interprovincial indoor bowls playoffs.
So we've got North Canterbury, we've got Canterbury East, Canterbury District and Mid Canterbury. South Canterbury and Waimeti could not find a team to play with us today. But I'm sure the spirit's been great, the bowls have been good and plenty of laughter, which is the main purpose of the whole day.
Each team is made up of players from their region who have progressed through from earlier playoffs.
We hold this here as an annual event. We have a playoff in our regions before the final today, and it's all in good fun and great day.
Mid Canterbury hadn't had a team go forward to represent the wider region at the Nationals for at least 5 years, but were hopeful this year would be the one.
Mid Canterbury haven't fared very well in the past. They have had one representative team probably about 5 years ago go through. So we're hoping today's the day.
The playoffs were eventually won by the North Canterbury team, who beat Mid Canterbury by just 1 point. In Ashburton, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, we meet the winner of Miss Senior Blossom Festival in Alexandra, and we look at a piece of Mid Canterbury's hydrological history. See you after the break.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, we bring you the best value. We have bought a massive selection of moleskins. and we're passing on the savings to you. Buy one pair, save $25. Buy two, save $60, and we have a great deal on our knitwear. Look at it all, 25% off all our knitwear. And to go with the knitwear, what about a nice warm shirt? These are 25% off too. And while we're doing the 25% off, what about on the jackets? 25% off them as well.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So check us out for massive savings this winter.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
No mai nor, welcome back. Alexandra geared up for this Saturday's Blossom Festival by crowning this year's Senior Blossom Festival Queen yesterday afternoon. The crowning ceremony took place at Alexandra District Club following an afternoon of entertainment by dancers and singers. Among those who attended the event was this year's Blossom Festival Princesses. This year's Blossom Festival Queen was Gwen Harricks. Rosemary McGrath was runner-up. The women are both great-grandmothers and discovered yesterday they are second cousins. Saturday's festival is set to include a round-the-clock race, a parade of floats and party in the park. The weather forecast is sunny with a high of 19 degrees. A young volunteer firefighter is making her mark in the Clyde Fire Station. For some, arriving home from school is a chance to relax and play, catch up with homework or kick a ball around. For 17-year-old Finlay Russell, however, after-school activity means being on call for the Clyde Volunteer Fire Brigade.
Ready for action. Clyde volunteer firefighter Finlay Russell began volunteering at a particularly young age. Even though it wasn't something she thought about, she decided to follow in family footsteps.
It's never something I thought about joining. The fire brigade, I knew it was here, I knew that, we had volunteers, but it's never something I even considered joining up to. And then my granddad joined when I was about 13, and he absolutely loves it. And he's here 6 months of the year, and he turns out when he can. And when I turned 16, I joined up and never really wanted to leave again.
The fire station covers the hills above the Clutha River, halfway towards Alexandra and Omakau, and in the other direction towards Cromwell, as well as covering the nearby Clyde Dam. She says they've done training up at the dam, and each team member has their own roles.
Between all of us, we have our own times that we can turn out for a call out. For me, that's when most of the adults have got their children, so after school times is my best time to turn out, or during the night. I don't typically turn out during the daytime because I know that there are enough people here to turn out.
Russell says many of the calls they respond to aren't fire related, and they're in the first responder role.
Probably fires are one of our least call outs. We do lots of car accidents and health calls, as well as our typical summer bushfires and such.
The minimum age to join a volunteer fire brigade is 16, and Finlay is keen to encourage other people of her age to consider volunteering. In Clyde, the South Today.
A celebration of Mid-Canterbury's hydrological history has been unveiled. A signboard now commemorates the building of the nearly 70-kilometre long Rangitata diversion race, created in the 1930s and 40s by workers using picks and shovels.
A signboard celebrating the Rangitata diversion race has been unveiled at the top of Klondike Terrace on the banks of the Rangitata intake. Hydrologist Terry Healer says the engineers of the day were years ahead of their time.
Are being studied and researched worldwide through complex computer models. But these guys got it right in 1935, 1937. They got the hydrology right, as proven by 75 years of operation.
The RDR, as it's known, was completed in 1945, runs from the intake on the Rangitata River to a discharge site at Highbank on the Rakaia River. 75 years down the track, or down the stream in this case, RDR Management Limited Chair Richard Wilson, who also farms in the catchment, says the body of water is like a member of the family.
I feel that the RDR is part of my river, the Rangitata, because it's a critical part of everything, socially, economically, everything that has come out of this district.
Environment Canterbury's David Cagle was Minister of Finance in 1990 and signed the transfer documents from the Crown to the local community, and says he's proud of his part in the irrigation scheme's history.
It was my signature as Minister of Finance on the transfer document from the Crown to the local community on the 1st of October 1990, one of the last acts of the Fourth Labor government.
He says it's a decision which rings true to this day.
In relation to this asset, it seemed to me instinctively, rather than based on any particular analysis of this project, just as a matter of instinct, it would be better owned and administered and developed by local people. And I believe it has been.
Terry Healer says when the Rangitata diversion race was created, it was the biggest and boldest move made by a country coming out of the Great Depression and into a world war. In the Rangitata, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, motorcycling world champ Courtney Duncan is set to receive a civic reception in Palmerston, and we find out just how bad this cold snap is going to be. See you soon.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. For a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chill.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Thanks for staying with us. A civic reception will be held for Women's World Motocross Champion Courtney Duncan at Palmerston on Friday. Duncan was met by about 100 enthusiastic supporters at Dunedin Airport last Friday as she came home after winning the Women's Championship in Turkey. Part of last Friday's welcome included an emotional haka by pupils of her old East Otago High School. This Friday's reception is set to begin at noon with a procession from East Otago High's bus park to the D.G. Murray Hall. Mayor Gary Kircher will lead a short civic reception where pupils, staff and parents from East Otago High and other nearby schools are invited to attend. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Dunedin Mayor Dave Cull has thrown his support behind two of the candidates vying to succeed him, which has irritated others in the race. Youth Play smashed educated teens about peer pressure and alcohol in Dunedin this week, chalking up 20,000 teens who have seen the play. And the Canterbury Federation of Women's Institutes showed their competitive spirit at last week's indoor bowls competition in Ashburton. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. We welcome Hayden Meikle. Kia ora, Hayden.
Good evening, Simon. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Very good. We start with a photo tonight. So we have some heritage riders here. These folks getting ready for the Tweed ride this weekend, which is of course part of the Heritage Festival, which is back on.
Mm-hmm.
Big event this year. It's sort of linked with the University of Otago's 150th. So it's going to be a big deal. There's going to be a lot of people in tweed. Simon, you might be joining them. I'm not sure. Is that your aesthetic? It would look fine on you.
We'll see.
Moving on. Fire station. Interesting story. There's some discussion over the Dunedin Central Fire Station. Obviously a heritage listed building, a fantastic old building. And FENZ, Fire and Emergency New Zealand, confirming they are looking at its future. There's about to be, as we all know, a rather massive building going in just across the road, the hospital build, going to take a long time. So interesting yarn and could be a work in progress. We've got more election stuff. Look, it's not going to end for the next couple of weeks. Dunedin Mayoral Forum today, and as we all know, that's one of the most fascinating races. There's a Southland District Council candidates meeting in Te Anau tonight, and we'll have more on the latest complaint against a Dunedin City Councillor. Lots of election stuff. A fascinating story out of Queenstown, which is due to host the Petroleum Conference. Protesters have allegedly been sending a hoax letter to people saying it's been cancelled, so we've got some interesting feedback on that. And some sport. There's always plenty of good sport from our boys in the sports department. A great yarn with the University of Otago Oval groundsman about, believe it or not, the earliest start to a first-class cricket season in the history of Otago cricket. Luckily, I guess it's been a fairly mild winter. He's had plenty of time to prepare, but there'll be lots of crossed fingers, I'm sure, ahead of the season for some nice sunny weather, as, believe it or not, Simon, cricket season is nearly here, so all that and more tomorrow.
Brilliant, Hayden. Thank you. Now time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, Robbie Burns being the lord of all the surveys across the Octagon at the start of the week. Looking at the situation, another day of bitterly cold southwesterly airflow tomorrow, with widespread showers, some hail and sleet and snow on the hills. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect showers and 11 degrees. Across to the northeast, where Nelson and Blenheim are due for clouds and 14 degrees. Moving down to Canterbury, Kaikoura you're set to be cloudy with 14. Christchurch you're also due for grey skies and 14 degrees, while Ashburton you'll have a few clouds too and 14 degrees. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, you can all expect strong southwesterlies and showers. The Catlins, Balclutha, Gore and Lumsden are only looking at 7 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes region, expect breezy southwesterlies in this area. Wanaka you're fine with 9 degrees, Alexandra you're one higher on 10, a couple of degrees cooler in Queenstown as you're heading for 8. Te Anau you should dress for showers and 7 degrees. Up to the northern towns, Timaru and Oamaru can look forward to moderate southwesterlies and fine weather. Timaru 13, Oamaru 11. Further inland, Twizel and Amarama are in for breezy southwesterlies and clear skies. Twizel, you're heading for a high of 11 degrees and it's 10 in Amarama. In Dunedin, showers developing later tonight with strong, gusty, cold southwesterlies, an overnight low of 2 degrees. Cloudy and very cold tomorrow with frequent showers and strong, gusty southwesterlies, planned for a high of 7 and a low of 4. Fine on Friday, with sunny periods and some cloud and fresh, cold southwesterlies steadily easing, a high of 13 and a low of 5. And in Invercargill, wintry showers tonight and an overnight low of 2. Some hail and sleet, very cold with strong southwesterlies near gale force at times, a high of 7 and an overnight low of 4. Showers clearing and a few sunny periods developing on Friday with fresh, cold southwesterlies decreasing, a high of 11 and an overnight low of 5. That's the news this Wednesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.